Hi, and welcome to your County Government Show. I'm Deb Gruber, Morrison County Administrator. Today I'm joined by another Deb, Deb Lau, our Auditor Treasurer. Welcome.
Hi.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, Deb.
Oh boy. I've been a Morrison County resident most of my life. Grew up on a farm out in Freedom and have lived just outside of Little Falls for the last 20 years or so. Proud mother of two. I have a son at home who attends Little Falls High School and a daughter who's grown and married and has two kids of her own. I graduated from Little Falls High School, went on to get my bachelor's in accounting from College of St. Benedict, immediately got my CPA license and later obtained my master's in business administration from Metropolitan State University.
Okay.
More than 30 years of experience in auditing, accounting, budgeting. Have taught accounting at college level down at Metropolitan State University. Also worked at Stearns County as a financial manager for more than 10 years in the auditor's office. And was one of the original founders of FallsNet Internet Service here in town. Started my own management consulting business called Pinstripes Consulting here in town, which has been going for almost 30 years now. And have worked for the last 15 years in private business as an implementation specialist, reorganizing businesses and doing software implementations and training worldwide, helping businesses. So I've got experience both private sector and government sector.
Great, great. Well, and now you're part of the Morrison County team, and that's great, and we welcome you. You know, changing a field, running for office, all of that takes some thought process and some decision making. What made you decide to run for the Auditor Treasurer position?
Well, I saw that Russ was finally ready to retire, finally. And I've been kind of waiting for that, waiting to get back into government and happy to be here in Morrison County. Been trying to get into Morrison County for quite some time. It seemed like perfect time to run for office with him leaving. I really like this job because it covers so many different job duties. I never have time to get bored because I'm doing something different every day. I really like that aspect of the job. I like solving problems. I like working with the public. This position really allows me to use a lot of my strengths, such as using my accounting background, my problem solving, my leadership, my change management abilities. And it also allows me to get involved in what's happening in Little Falls, Morrison County, in the community, and basically give back to the community. And another good benefit, I no longer have to travel on weekends, so I'm home to spend more time with my family and friends.
Oh, certainly, and that's such an important thing with kids growing up and with staying connected to family and the community is important, and
Yep.
Service to that is important, so we appreciate that. So going from private to public, I remember kind of joking when I was hired at the county back in '05 and saying I went public. You know, it was the first time I had a public position and worked for a public entity, and there are differences. Tell me a little bit about that transition and what you see as a positive with public employment and government sector versus private, and what maybe are things that are different that aren't as positive.
Yeah, I've gone back and forth between public and private a couple of times. And, you know, some of the differences in public accounting, you have to deal with the politics, and some people see that as a negative. But the positive sides of public accounting are you really get to help your community. So you get to get involved in the things that give back to your community, that support your community, and I get to help make those decisions that make things better for where I live and the people that I support and that I love. So in private, it's more about helping businesses to make more money and succeed, whereas in public, it's about helping the community to succeed, and how do I make things better for the community.
Sure, that makes sense. What, in that transition, what has surprised you the most in coming to work for Morrison County, or what maybe, you know, hadn't you expected that now you're experiencing, or was it not much of a change at all?
What surprised me was some things were really easy to come back and it's like I never left. Some things were just really easy to step back into. Haven't changed really much at all. I have to learn a few new laws. And then other things, brand new, I'm having to learn I've never had to know before. And so they're taking me a while to get back, you know, to figure out. But my staff has been there 100% to help me out, answer questions for me, things like that. So the transition has been pretty easy. It's been really good. I'm learning a lot, enjoying myself, really getting into this position, and I'm really loving being here at the county and everything that this job implies.
Good, good. Let's talk a little bit about, you know, daily tasks. What is it you do in your job?
Well, there's a long list that comes along with this job because it's the auditor duties, the treasurer duties. The auditor treasurer's office is responsible for all the financial statements for the county. We're also responsible for all the official financial records. We collect and deposit all the county funds. We also invest any excess county funds, making sure that we make as much money as possible on those excess funds, as long as they follow statute. We serve as the recipient for all the bids that the county puts out. So for construction projects, equipment services, things like that, we receive all those bids. Based on all the levies that we get from cities, counties, or school districts, special taxing districts, we calculate all the tax rates and we compute taxes for every single parcel in the county. We mail all the tax statements, the mobile home tax statements, and the truth in taxation statements that people get in October or November. We collect the deed and mortgage tax along with all the regular taxes that people pay. We distribute then all of those taxes out to the individual cities, townships, school districts, etc. that levied for them. Research any confession of judgments, record those, help collect those if possible so that people don't lose their property if they can afford to.
Which are confession of judgments, are payment plans for those that are delinquent in their taxes.
Exactly, thank you. Work with property tax credits, ag reserve programs, green acre programs, things like that to help people get credits on their property. Initiate or concur with the assessor on any abatements for their properties which may increase or decrease their tax owed. Maintain up-to-date records on their parcels of land, so that could include legal descriptions, transfers, splits, combinations, etc. We're responsible for all the miscellaneous licenses in the county. As the auditor, I also serve on the Board of Equalization, which hears any complaints about property values at the county level. I'm on the Rural Development Finance Authority. I'm the secretary for the Extension Committee and any other committees the county wants me to get involved with, or Board of Commissioners. I'm the chief election official for the county, which means our office is responsible for registering all voters, training election judges, ordering supplies for all the precincts, printing the ballots, receiving the filings for all the candidates, administering absentee ballots, and receiving and tabulating all the election results. And then finally, and then there's a lot of things I'm missing, I'm sure, but finally I'm also the deputy register at the county, which means I oversee all the motor vehicle duties. So they're responsible for issuing ID cards, driver's licenses, registrations, title transfers for all motor vehicles, and registrations. So we have a wide variety of duties.
A lot of different things. I mean, and just to break off kind of sections of that, you have the taxes, you have the interface with a number of different departments, in particular the assessor's office. Right. You know, in previously being the treasurer, I had the opportunity to learn a bit more about that. But you know, the interface between property values and how that system starts to the end result, which is dollars collected and then distributed out. I mean, There are a lot of systems, software that helps with that, other vendors that help. You know, you talk about the tax statements and things of that nature. So in reading that list, it makes everybody go, oh my goodness, how could you possibly have time to breathe? But there are a lot of different tools that we use to help with that process and communicate that information and whatnot.
Right, we do have a lot of software in place that helps us with that. And that software integrates with the other offices within the county. So, for example, when we calculate our taxes, the assessor is the one who determines the value of the property and which classification that property falls into. So it may be a residential property or an agricultural property or maybe a commercial property. They determine those things before it comes to us to calculate the tax. And they will put that information into the software that we use. And then we will take that value once it's determined and we can calculate the tax from there, all within that same software program.
Yep, exactly, and that even collection of the taxes, and then, you know, the systems we use for that. There's a number of different tools that are used to help facilitate that process.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm. And then we have a company who sends out the tax statements for us, and so there's a lot of that, what used to be manual labor way back. Well, not all that long
not that
ago.
long ago.
Because you know, that was a change that I had made when I was in that office, but that we really have a lot of resources that allow it to be a little less labor intensive, which is good.
Things are becoming more and more automated, which helps us greatly. Even sending our checks to the bank is mostly an automated function now. Mm-hmm. We scan the checks and the checks are digitized and sent to them.
Yeah, it's amazing the differences technology makes. And I think, well, you know, technology can be scary and difficult. The chance for error decreases greatly when you don't have people, which we're all human, touching all of those different components multiple times. So I think that does help, and certainly with the costs of staffing, we can help in that process too. So, and I think the interaction with other offices really, technology can provide a better connection where it does help as far as serving our customers, I think.
Right, and it keeps us on a definite set schedule of this is what's required, and if we always follow the same steps, we know that we're going to get the end result the same.
Yeah, it is amazing the difference between the statutory definition of those offices and how they're created under statute, and how that was reflective of a business process, you know, 150 years ago, to how business has changed now that the interpretation of what it means to, you know, keep financial records, you know, has morphed into not ledgers and books or copies of checks in a closet to computer programs and to, you know, digitize, like you said, checks that don't even physically go to the bank. You know, it's amazing the difference in how that's evolved.
Right, even paying our accounts payable is approximately 50% now done electronically.
Mm-hmm. It is amazing. It has really changed. Now, elections. So that's taxes. Now we have elections. You're the chief election official for the county. And so tell us a little bit about the interaction you have with those local election judges and things of that nature.
Yes, and anytime somebody wants to hold a bond election, special election, they will have to run that through our office. And so we will set up everything with the state, create all the information. So we prepare the ballots, we make sure everything is registered with the state, we get the ballots printed, sent it out to them, we make sure all the publications get done, we make sure all the judges are trained, that they have everything set on the correct dates. We organize everything with them. We do the absentee ballots. So basically all the organization happens in our office. They are then responsible for holding the election if it's a special election. Now when we come to presidential elections next year, that will fall mainly at our office to organize, but they will still be the ones who hold the elections at each individual district. So you will see for each township, they will be responsible for having trained judges, and those trained judges will be the ones who hold the elections at each township.
Yeah, there is a lot of interaction with the local officials. They, I've helped out a little bit with the elections at the county level, and it's kind of similar to taxes. We're that main entity that kind of organizes the effort.
Definitely.
And not only do we have our own elections and our own taxes we collect, we kind of administer that for the rest of the county and help with that process and organize that process.
And become a liaison with all the individual sub-districts below us.
Yep, exactly, exactly. It allows for a lot of interaction locally, like you had said, and involvement with the community. That's
Definitely.
Good. Taxes, elections, licenses. Now you talked a little bit about being the deputy registrar and the motor vehicle component, but then there's also a lot of other licenses that we as county government issue to either businesses or individuals that are administered through your office. Do you want to touch a little bit on which ones those are?
Yeah, most people are aware that we do wine and beer and liquor licenses, Sunday licenses. Those come through our office.
For non-city jurisdictions, so keeping that in mind.
Exactly. So it's anything that's outside of the cities, so anything that falls within the county jurisdiction. In addition to that, we would do anything like a transient merchant. We do the large assembly licenses like the Mud Fest, the Pierce Freedom Fest. Would have to get a license from us, fireworks permit, things like that. So those types of licenses will all run through our office. Okay. So anything that's going to be a miscellaneous type license, if we decided to implement a dangerous dog license, that would come through our office.
Yeah. And with that allows you to interface a bit with other county departments, public health and liquor licenses, and I know different trainings and things that happen, or the sheriff's office in terms of their input for liquor sale license or gambling licenses, things of that nature. So, that is an interface that occurs too, which is nice.
Yeah, exactly. We've had a couple of meetings between public health and the sheriff's office and myself on the liquor licenses to discuss the beverage server training and possibly reducing liquor license fees if they got the beverage server training for their employees. So a lot of interaction between departments.
And exploring different ideas and things
exactly.
that may come up. That is true. Tell me a little bit about our role in being the deputy registrar. And I know that can work differently in different jurisdictions in terms of it's not necessarily a mandated county function by any means, but it's something we do really for a service for county residents.
The county is required to ensure that it does happen within the county, but not required to do the service themselves. Since we have nobody else within the county providing that service, we provide it. So we have an office here within the county building. Some other counties decide to outsource the service, but we've had really good luck here with our staff and with the service. Our staff down there right now provide excellent customer service. We have people coming from all of the surrounding counties just to get their licenses here because we are courteous and quick, and we don't send them away and make them come back, whereas when they go to other counties, they stand in line and they have to make multiple trips. So we've gotten really good compliments on our services here.
Yeah, they do a good job. Denise runs that shop down there and does an excellent job with that, and the staff right now is just wonderful. That's true. Very, very true. Very good asset. The motor vehicle licenses, I don't know if everybody always recognizes, but we do have extended hours on Thursdays, yes. So they are open into the evening to help serve folks.
Yep, open until 6 on Thursdays.
6 on Thursdays, yes, that's a very good asset. And it is nice because it's a revenue generator for us too. Mm-hmm. It really has been, and the goal is to keep it at a cost neutral level, so we're not expending property tax dollars, but taking advantage of being able to offer that service in a a nice facility that has good access with extended hours when need be, but yet not have property taxes supplementing something we don't have to do. So I think it is a win-win.
Correct.
Really.
Yeah.
We'll keep it that way. I don't see it changing anytime soon. That's for sure. So there are a lot of different components, and I know. We talked about the Board of Equalization and your work with that, or different committees that you're on, which is a adds a lot of value in terms of bringing things back to the leadership. And I know we work closely together, and that's been fun to learn how each other works and move forward with different initiatives at the county level and working with the county board and things of that nature. So it's been good in that regard. Tell us a little bit about your plans. What is your vision for that office? What are things that you want to look at, address in the future, anything that you'd like to see happen?
Really moving forward, I want to unify the office. The position was combined as an elected auditor treasurer several years ago now, but we're still running as two separate offices. So I'd like to see that unified so that we can actually do some more cross-training, make the office more efficient. The staff do their best, but not being able to cover the counter or work with the other office makes it really difficult. So that's one of my major goals, and we've been working on getting that going. Another one is just to get some more training going and work towards a plan to cover those of our staff who we know are going to be retiring in the next 2 to 5 years, because we have a lot of people who will hit Rule of 90, and so we know we have that coming up. Big one for me is just learning more of my job duties, dealing with that as it comes up, and getting to know more of how Morrison County runs, because I know it's going to run different than Stearns did just because of the size and the population and the needs up here. So those are kind of my major goals right now, and then just deal with the issues that come up, because in this job everything changes on a day-to-day basis.
Yep, absolutely, absolutely. And we're here to work together on things, and so it's going to be a fun adventure, and I appreciate you putting the time in and effort to run for office. That isn't an easy thing to do, I know that, but we need folks to step up and to make those decisions in order to have effective and efficient government and work how it's designed to work. So thank you for doing that, and welcome to Morrison County.
No, thank you so much.
And thank you for joining us for the York County Government Show, which is aired Fridays at 2 p.m. and Saturdays at 7 p.m. on Charter Channel 180.